there's this question I want to ask you. There's been this news on social media lately on some estates that the government has marked illegal. So, and because they don't have approved layout. So, I want to ask you, does this mean that they're definitely going to lose their property, or is there something that they can do, to retain their property?
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's a very sensitive question because it's the news is the latest news now,
Yeah.
and I know people will be so curious about it, and then they actually want to know what is really happening. You see, that they are going to lose the property is yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, I would say yes in the sense that if they fail to do the right thing, but if they can do the right thing, it's capital no. They are not going to lose it. And what I mean by the right thing, the right thing is that you see, we are the government. It
Yeah.
is somebody like me and you that is in charge. They get what they are trying to do is to call their attention to come and do the right thing. What they have
Oh,
failed to do
before.
at the initial stage.
Okay.
Now, it's just for them to reach out to a surveyor to carry out the perimeter survey of the whole estate,
Okay.
register it, then involve their town planners, prepare a layout,
Hmm.
send it out for picking sheets,
Okay.
then pack all the documents and go and submit it to the appropriate office
In Alausa.
in Alausa.
Okay.
Once they do that, I think it's settled. So basically, what government is trying to do is just to
Bring
call their
their
attention, to
attention
bring them back to the right thing they are supposed to do
do.
at the initial stage.
Welcome to another episode of Alpha Podcast, where real estate meets strategic insights. Land is the safest investment you can make in Lagos. Well, until you actually buy land that doesn't exist. That's why we're here today to shed more light, to have a conversation on how to identify and avoid survey and layout scams in Lagos. I'm your host, Oluwatimi Rachel, and here with me is my co-host.
My name is Choma Irene Zeke, and here with us is one of the best, the most innovative, the good-looking surveyor, a registered surveyor for the matter self, and he's here to talk with us, to discuss with us on our topic that we just mentioned now, and I'll give him some time to say some things about himself.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Once again, my name is Sylvia Akwaji AI. I'm a registered surveyor of Federal Republic of Nigeria, and like I said, I'm glad to be here
You're
because
welcome, sir.
you have actually chosen an interesting topic, which we think we need to keep enlightening our people, and for them to be aware of how and to go about survey plan and layout precisely based on the topic we have to discuss today. So thank you very much once again.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much, sir. You're welcome, sir. So our first question for you today is: how can someone identify the most common scams in land surveys? How can someone identify them?
Okay. Thank you for your question. But I think before we go into that question, we need to let people know what's the fundamental meaning of the surveying itself. So when you understand the concepts, I think you should be able to understand whatever questions we are giving answers to. So surveying basically is arts, science, and technology of taking measurements of land, and it could be land, it could be water, it could be because surveying is very very large, it's very very wide. So, but basically on the land, when you talk about survey, we are talking about dimension. We're talking about the extent. We're talking about how it goes, the shape of the land itself. So, and the document that back it up is the survey itself, the survey plan. And when you talk about survey plan, back to your question, so how you could be able to discover
Common scams.
common scams
Survey.
in survey in Lagos. You see, we talk about people that call themselves Omonile. Generally, the Omoniles are the traditional owner of the land, but by law, it is owned by government. According to the law, all land belongs to government. But at the same time, government gives them their own rights. Probably when you buy from them, you could still be able to go to the government and process your documentation so that it becomes your own. Then why doing that? The there are some particular land that you can't even talk to the homeowner directly. You have to go through the government. But they still claim that they are the owner. But the best way to discover that is going through your chatting. We call something chatting information. But before you buy any land, you have to investigate it through charting information. And that charting information is very wide as well. Because from my experience, we have gone to some particular area in Lagos here that I discovered that a survey plan is representing another land, not even the land they are selling to you. They could give you a survey plan and say, okay, this is a survey plan that I want to sell the land. By the time you get to that land, you discover that it's even representing. Don't forget, I said the survey is measuring land. You get, so that survey plan is actually representing a parcel of land somewhere, specifically in Lagos. But the survey they give to you does not depict, or there's no correlation between that survey plan and the land they are selling. So when you carry out your charting, you could be able to discover that, okay, that land is not genuine because the survey is not representing that land. As well, going further, when you now even have that information, you want to go and check, you could go to the Ministry of Lands, go to the Office of the Survey General to go and confirm. When you get there, they'll be able to tell you that land belongs to government. There's something we call acquisition, there's something we call committed. It could be an acquisition land, but you can still do documentation on it. I don't know if you're getting it. So on that basis, if it's government land and they are claiming to sell, automatically you should be able to know that that is scam because it doesn't belong to them. They are selling what does not belong to them. I don't know if you get. So basically, through chatting information, you'll be able to know if the land is scam or not.
You said that sometimes the documentation, like the layout, is different from the piece of land that they are showing you. So how do we identify that this document is forged and it doesn't correlate with the land that we are seeing? How do we identify outside the whole chatting?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Basically, like myself, what I do is by the time you give me the survey, I will insist we visit the sites. When we get to the sites, then we set up our own instruments.
Oh,
By the time we set up the instruments, we acquire our data.
okay.
So, which is the XYZ. We talk about the bearing and distance, and finally the heights. That's if is needed.
Okay.
So now, in all, what we are generating is the coordinates. Coordinates is a set of numbers that is depicting points on the ground. So when you acquire that coordinates, we compare with the information you have given to us. So if there's no
Oh.
correlation, so automatically we discover that. So that means that survey plan is not representing that
So
land.
the equipment is very important.
Very, very important. Very, very important.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
So, what are the red flags that buyers should look out for when they are presented with a survey plan? What are the red flags? Like, according to my knowledge, I know something about registered survey, provisional survey. So, how can people be able to identify if this is a provisional survey or a registered survey, and any other red flags that can help them to know that they are being presented with the right survey plan?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. I think let me start from here. You see, on a registered survey plan, there are some information that you need to look out for. Number one, you need to look out for the name of the surveyor, who signed that plan.
Okay.
Because, when you say surveyor, I don't mean everybody that is going to sites that claim to be a surveyor. I mean registered surveyor.
Yeah.
Because you cannot call yourself a surveyor if you are not a registered surveyor, if you don't have the license. A surveyor is a person that the Surveyor Council of Nigeria certify to practice or carry out any survey job. So without that license, you can't call yourself a registered surveyor. So automatically on the plan, you cannot put your name as the person that certified that plan. Put your name on the plan and say it is I certified this plan, that I prepare it and you signed it. The non-surveyor cannot do that. So when you see the name, you should be able, when you look out for the name, let it be that it must be a registered surveyor. That's number one.
Okay.
Then number two, there's something we call second beacon number. That the second beacon number, second is an abbreviation of the Surveyor Council of Nigeria. So by the time you want to carry out your survey, there's something we call mandatory payments. So when you make that payment into the institution purse, they issue out some numbers, which is the second beacon numbers. So those second booking numbers, there are ways it is written. It depends on the states. Like in Lagos State now, we have SC. The SC represent the second. Then slash LA. The LA is the is for the state, which is Lagos. If it's Ogun, you have SC slash OG, like that in other states too. So those numbers are what you look out for. So if you see anything different from that, it's a red flag that this survey is not a registered survey. They get.
Okay.
So and aside that, you see the title on it, the way it's written, plan showing, property said to belong to. Those are the most important things you need to look out for on the survey. Then there must be a seal by a registered surveyor that is going to put on the survey plan. So watch out for it. On the seal, you see the name of the surveyor. You see the name of the surveyor, of course. Then you see a registration number.
Okay.
The registration, like myself, I have my own registration number that was given to me. My number, attached to my license. So you find it on it. So those are the things I think you need to look out for. So that will make it to know that this is a registered survey. Yeah.
You were saying something about looking out for a certain number to know that, okay, this is a registered survey. What are other things that, as a buyer, you have to look out for that you know that this layout documentation is genuine, like is approved?
Okay. I think you see there are two things: layouts and survey.
Okay.
They're interwoven. They're interrelated.
Okay.
You get. Now, in addition to the survey part, I think there's something we call certificate of lodgement as well. For you to be very sure, because when you do a registered survey, you have to register it
What
at
does
the
this
office.
certificate do?
It's showing that when you carry out a survey, you
Okay.
produce your plan. You have to go and register it, submit a copy at the office of the Surveyor General of that state. So by the time you submit it, it will go through a process within the offices there. Then they are going to issue a certificate that to acknowledge that that survey has been registered at the office of the Surveyor General of that state.
So every surveyor is under the surveyor general.
No.
Okay.
We are not all surveyor are under the Surveyor General. Surveyor General is representing the sector of this survey aspect of the states.
Okay.
Yes. So we like someone like me now. I'm a private practicing surveyor.
Okay.
But whatever survey we carry out, we have to go and register it at the office of the Surveyor General. So what I'm saying is there's a certificate. Once you get that certificate, it's one of the criteria that will show that that survey is actually a registered survey. Then for the layout, there are some things you look out for. You see, when there are requirements, there's a matrend. There's a letter too that comes from as approval letter
Okay.
for the layout. Because before you carry out a layout, you have to prepare a survey. When you prepare a survey, you design the layout. When you design the layout, you submit for baking sheets, which that number I was telling you about. I was talking about the second baking numbers. We come out for every point on that layout. You get. So those are the processes. So those ones now, if you need to know, if you want to confirm, or you are buying from any company and you needed to confirm if it's genuine or not, so you need to let them show you those documents.
Yes.
Then there's an approval for it. So they're going to show you the approval too.
Okay.
So once you see those ones intact, then you're good to go.
So I've once seen someone that acquired the property and then the document that was given to him was still under the name of the seller. So can you just please tell us why it is dangerous to rely solely on the seller's document instead of acquiring your own personal document?
Okay. I think basically, if you buy, of course, if it's a third, I don't know, an indirect transaction,
Yeah, yes,
like
you're getting
okay,
the
you are
property
getting from someone,
yes,
and maybe
it's under the person's name. It's still
name,
under the
yes.
person's name.
Now, once you
Dangerous.
once you buy, the right thing for you to do is to do the perfection of that documentation in your own name, because if it's in that person's name, it's still showing that it's still the person still own the property. For future reference, now let me tell you something. There's something we call like consent the surveying. For instance, that if a land has a CFO and
Yeah.
the CFO is registered in the name of Mr. A,
Okay.
now another person is coming to come and buy that same property. What you are going to do, you are not doing another CFO because the government cannot issue two CFO for a particular land. Now, what you're going to do is a consent. So once you want to do that consent, the consent is just to call the attention of the state government, precisely office of the survey general, that this particular land, the ownership has been transferred to another person. So it will be registered there that okay, CFO was issued in the name of Mr. A, but the ownership has been transferred to Mr. B. So there they will have it, they will have your name as the an updated owner of that property. Yeah.
So that it's very important to make sure that you are the particular owner of each property you buy, whether you're buying from someone or from a company.
Yeah.
Your name must be on the documents.
Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
So back to looking out for the buyers. How do buyers know that they have been issued a fake beacon?
Okay, like I said the other time, the there are ways those beacons are written. The beacon numbers are written. I talk about SC/A. We have the prefix for each of the surveyor. I have my own. Then there is a particular number. There are number set of numbers that comes with it. So those ones, if you don't see it that way, is an alarm. It's a red flag already.
Okay.
But at the same time, we understand that it could be forged.
Okay.
Yes.
But above all, the certificate of registration, that is the lodgement certificate, will prove it. It's what anybody can check. Anybody can go online and check because there's a link for it. It's just for you to put in your plan number.
Oh,
Once you put in your plan number, it will bring out the whole information, about that particular land. Both the plan number, the name on the survey, the size,
okay.
the coordinates, and as well the other information. That means the status of the land.
Okay.
So it will come out with it. So if you see that, that means you are good to go.
Okay. So I want to ask, can a legal action be taken against any fake survey or layout? Like, when you get something and you find out that it's fake, is there a legal action against that?
Yes. Aside beyond the legal action, I think okay, let me start from here. If you do a fake survey, from experience, when you do a survey, probably Mr. A has done a fake survey,
Okay.
Mr. B has done the right survey. Now there's issue
On the
probably
same property?
yes on the same property.
Okay.
So there's not issue on the land. What we call disputes,
Yes.
fighting over the land. Now they now go to the courts. We're gonna settle it. The person that owns the original survey has a very high tendency of winning that case because that is what the government recognized.
Okay.
Unlike the other person that has done the fake survey.
Yeah.
As well, not even for the buyer or the seller alone, but for the surveyor who actually prepared it. The license could be revoked depending on it
wow.
depends. Could be revoked. The council can actually go because there's a disciplinary committee
Okay.
in the SOCON, Survey Council of Nigeria, that deals with that. So if they find out that this survey is fake, or somebody has gone to impersonate, put somebody's name,
Okay.
that somebody has used my name to put it on the paper, sign for me, that person, of course, definitely is going to jail straight up.
Okay.
So there is legal implication for fake survey. So,
Wow. So aside everything that's been mentioned so far, as a prospective buyer, what do you think are the due diligence that you can do before you make a purchase?
okay, yes, we start from chatting.
Okay.
Reach out to your registered surveyor, not just a surveyor, a registered surveyor. When you reach out to the registered surveyor, what they will tell you is that let's visit the site to see the property you actually want to buy. I've had an experience with a client that when he was about to buy a property somewhere in Chevron and worth 600 million naira. Of course, the client is not in Nigeria. And by the time I got to the site, we did our abracadabra, normal. We did our.
What does that mean?
Yes, we abracadabra. Sorry to use that language. I mean, we when we got to the site, we set up our instruments, acquire the data.
Okay.
The way I said it the other time. So, by the time we took this, we acquired the data. We went straight to the office of the Survey General to check the status of that land. So we discovered that it's under government scheme, and at the same time, we doing our the course of investigation. So we discovered that the same land we're talking about, the federal government is even laying claim to it.
Wow.
Yes. Now, while we were doing that, we noticed that federal government has issued C of O on that land, while in Lagos State it falls under government scheme. What we were able to tell our clients is to, just leave that land
Okay.
because it's a red flag already,
Mm-hmm.
showing that there is problem somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to acquire that, what I'm now saying is, if you want to acquire the land, you need to
Okay.
reach out to a registered surveyor for
Okay.
chatting information. Don't even give them survey that they should use it and check for you. Let the surveyor go to the sites to avoid the issue I mentioned earlier, like the correlation between the survey and the land itself. So by the time the surveyor gets to the site, you'll be able to check the correlation. That's number one thing. After checking the correlation, you check the status of the land. If it's government land, if it has CFO, if it's free from government acquisition.
Okay,
So-
surveyor that does that.
Yeah, definitely. So you just have to go through that process.
Okay.
So at the end, the surveyor will tell you. Someone like me, I even give reports and I've signed it because I don't know what I'm putting into.
Yes.
I'm a professional. If I've said the land is okay, it's good to buy, and you have gone to buy it, now you have done construction worth or building worth millions of naira, and at the end you now discover that it's even fake. You should fall back to me and say, but you gave me go ahead to go and do it. So you have every right to sue me, and I should be responsible for the loss, or whatever loss that comes upon that property. So that is it. So you need to go through chatting information
Always
by
go
reaching
to
out to
surveyor.
register surveyor. Yes.
A registered surveyor.
Yes.
Very important. A registered surveyor.
Surveyor.
Not somebody that just
No, no, no.
proclaims I'm a surveyor.
No, those ones that collect money from you and run away.
Yeah.
But at the register surveyor, you have I'm tied to something,
Mm.
which is the license,
Yes.
and we have a body called SOCON that you can actually refer to.
Okay, so an individual can always, make inquiries to or investigate on every surveyor they use. They can do that personally, right?
Yes, yes.
There's this question I want to ask you. There's been this news on social media lately on some estates that the government has marked illegal. So, and because they don't have approved layout. So I want to ask you, does this mean that they're definitely going to lose their property, or is there something that they can do, to retain their property?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think it's a very sensitive question because it's the news is the latest news now,
Yeah.
and I know people will be so curious about it, and they actually want to know what is really happening. You see, that they are going to lose the property is yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, I will say yes in the sense that if they fail to do the right thing, but if they can do the right thing, it's capital no. They are not going to lose it. And what do I mean by the right thing? The right thing is that you see, we are the government. It is somebody like me and you that is in charge. They get what they are trying to do is to call their attention to come and do the right thing. What they
Oh.
have failed to do
Before.
at the initial stage.
Okay.
Now, it's just for them to reach out to a surveyor to carry out the perimeter survey of the whole estate,
Okay.
register it, then involve their town planners, prepare a layout, send it out for picking sheets,
Okay.
then pack all the documents and go and submit it to the appropriate in the appropriate office
In Alausa.
in Alausa.
Okay.
Once they do that, I think it's settled. So basically, what government is trying to do is just to
Bring
call
their
their attention, to
attention
bring them back to the right thing they are supposed to do at the initial stage.
Okay.
So
You-
that is just it.
You said that they should do the right thing. They should have their surveyor take map out the layout, submit documentation to allow that. So what's the assurance that they'll get approval? And these are really big estates.
Yeah. Very.
Okay. Yes. Definitely they are going to get approval. On what condition? If the land is not committed.
No.
What do you mean committed?
Exactly.
I mean committed is that like I said from the beginning that the based on the status of the land,
Okay.
it could be committed. It could be government acquisition. Committed in the sense that government might have probably assigned it for a particular purpose.
Okay.
Now, for instance, now you have schools, you have government schools, you have hospitals, you have local government. Okay, for instance, look at our local governments now. Imagine their place has not been developed, and somebody now go there to say, "I want to buy that property." On the system, it has been designed that it is meant for local government secretariats. So that is committed. It has been assigned for a particular purpose or project. So once an individual goes to go and buy, that means you're buying it to lose it.
So it's a 50-50.
No, it's not really good. It's 101% sure that you are losing it because it's committed.
Yeah.
You get? So that is it. So if the land is committed,
Okay.
there are no two ways about it. They are going to lose it.
So and the government will not compensate the owner.
Compensation how?
How?
Compensation
So it's
how?
gone like that.
It's gone.
Investment.
So that's all it has. It's just like you are packing the whole money and put inside pits.
What if he
Wow.
has a title, like a solid title?
Now, if you have a title, that means it's not committed. A land that is
Okay.
committed, you can never do a title or put any
Okay.
documentation on a land that is committed. No,
Okay.
you can't. So if it's not committed, then you are free. So you just do the right thing. But if it's committed, you now see taking it back to the first question or some of the questions you have asked, talking about the process to go about why you are carrying land. It's just that chatting process.
Okay.
So once you chat, you know that it's free. Ideally, when they bought that property, they're supposed to carry out a survey, perimeter survey, prepare their layout, register it before they start doing every other thing. But they fail to
Do
pass
that.
through that process.
Yeah.
They
just bought
jump to the end process, and do all those. So what government is just trying to do basically is just to bring them back to the
That's
track
it.
and say, okay, do the right thing. What you're supposed to do it now.
So I have this question that I've been wanting to ask you since before now. Do surveyors work alone or do they work with lawyers?
It's when that question is you could work alone and
Okay.
work with them, depends, because when you talk about all these chatting information as well, because people mix it up. The lawyer could tell you that I can do the chatting for you, but at the end they are still reaching out to the surveyors.
Surveyors.
Do you
So
get?
it's double expense.
So of course, if I'm the one, if I get the money, I have to add my own. You get? So once they get it, so they still bring it back to the surveyors and say, okay. The only aspect they can confirm is when you're talking about the deed now.
Okay.
They want to confirm the deed at the registry there. They are in charge. They can do that for you, of course, because they are the one that prepared the deed. But when you talk about the status of the land, it's the surveyors. So partially we work together. Yes.
Thank you so much.
So you have put a lot of people's minds at rest now. Don't worry, your house is not getting demolished. Once your estate does the right thing and
Yeah.
all the things he highlighted, I think you're good to go. You don't have to go back to your village. Thank you so much for your
welcome.
insightful take,
welcome.
Savio
Thanks so much,
Akaji. Thank you so much. God bless
You're
you.
welcome.
I know some of you are so curious to ask more questions. Don't worry about that. You can ask us any question of your choice in our comment section. I will make sure we reply you back. And this is the end of today's Alpha podcast. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
This
so
is
much.
our registered surveyor, a very, very well-known man in Lagos when it comes to surveys. Any survey you want to do, he's the CEO of Geo Akai Consultants Limited. So make sure that if you want to know more about him, you can check him up on social media. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching us. We appreciate you.